Feeling overwhelmed by negative news? 5 Good News Stories is your daily dose of what's going right in the world. Like the 103-year-old granny who got caught speeding in her sports car because she was living life to the fullest, or the family who found their missing cat after 3 years when it showed up at their vacation rental. Remember Flop the penguin's incredible comeback after his injury? And that guy who broke the world record for most high fives in 24 hours while raising money for charity? These are the stories that remind us the world is still full of wonder and joy. 5 Good News Stories. Pure positivity 3 times a week. 5 Good News Stories, available wherever you get your podcasts. 5 Good News Stories.
Calaroga Shark Media.
Hey man, I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. I'm feeling good on the mic. I just recorded the weekly comedy thing. That's the weekly show I host on the Live One app. The app is free, the show is free, and it's like this, except I can play full comedy bits from comedians. I just recorded that, so I'm feeling pretty good and loose. Let me tell you about Sarah Silverman. She's coming back to Netflix for her second Netflix stand-up special. This one out May 20th. It is called Postmortem. In Postmortem, Sarah Silverman finds comedy in the darkest corners of life. It follows the recent death of both her parents. Sarah hilariously navigates the absurdities of death with her signature wit, from unexpectedly finding the deal of a lifetime while planning their funerals to cherishing the bittersweet experience of hearing her mother's last words. I don't know if I'll be able to watch that one, honestly. Even that last sentence there of hearing her mother's last words, I flash back. I happened to be in the room when my own mother passed a little over a year ago. It might be too soon for me. I'm not offended if you watch the special, but I might just choose to pass on that one. And I'll ask Dylan in the Facebook group how it was. We'll see. Sometimes I can power through these things. I digress. My initial reaction to this is, while I do like Sarah, same note I've been giving a lot lately, I kind of feel like I know what Sarah does. Can we get some new voices? Or is Netflix just going to go, you've heard of this person? I mean, Hulu is clearly doing, okay, you've heard of this person. But Netflix, what happened to Discovery? We're not doing that anymore. We're just playing the hits. The algorithm like Sarah Silverman, I guess. All right. Opportunity for someone else to swoop in and be the current face of comedy. Just saying, nothing against Sarah, nothing against Netflix, nothing against Hulu, other than their publicists, of course, who don't get back to people who host comedy podcasts in their basement. They should. I bet they get back to Jason Zinneman with his fancy New York Times business cards, huh? Nikki Glaser spoke to the New York Post. New York Post, what are you doing? Here, let me read a sentence from the New York Post Nikki Glaser article. New York Post may be compensated and or receive an affiliate commission if you click or buy through our links. So they did a piece about Nikki Glaser so that they could have you click on links and buy things. For example, Nikki Glaser says, sagging skin is a universal horror that we can all share in. Just remember that fun fact. It'll come back around here. Nikki shares that her fashion muse is Adam Sandler. Glaser says, Adam Sandler is always comfortable and confident. I'm jealous because he doesn't have to do fittings ever or wear Spanx, and he constantly gets to promote teams and things he likes. Whereas my assistant made me retire 90% of my Taylor Swift merchandise. I still wear my Tortured Poets earrings, ring, and bracelet, though. We learned that Nikki Glaser has 30-plus pairs of jeans in her closet, but only 3 pairs are in heavy rotation. She can't bear to purge any of them. Glaser explains, in order to get rid of them, you have to try them on, and I'm too scared to see what fits and what doesn't, so I keep everything. All that's fun, and all that, remember, was just an excuse to have affiliate links. We learn, with an affiliate link, Nikki likes a Miko Bikini 17. This is a podcast, so I don't have a link for you to click. I mean, I could put one in the show notes. I'm not going to. I'm not here for the affiliate marketing. But as for the bikini, Nikki says, I found this swimsuit at the boutique at the Four Seasons Resort Lanai. As regular folks do. Just saying. And then the brand wrote to me next week and offered to send it to me for free. So now I have 2. I love a scoop neckline on sports bras. Out of touch. I'm sorry. Get something in my throat there. And swimwear. I wish I could find more of them. Nikki enjoys Dior Highlighter Powder 17 and explains, I can be heavy-handed with makeup, so I like something that doesn't transfer that easily. I can use it liberally when I'm applying it on the go and know that I'm not going to look crazy for whatever podcast I'm running late for. If you had the print edition, well, I don't know how this would work in a print edition, you would somehow click on an affiliate link in the print edition and get some Sohos polarized aviator sunglasses. That would take you to a link on Amazon, and we learn From Nikki Glaser. I buy these sunglasses in bulk, and that's only because my most stylish friends once said they were cute. She could have just been being nice or saying the opposite of what she was thinking, but now I have 100 pairs of Sohos polarized aviator sunglasses. Sorry, I got a cold today. Nikki enjoys the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Lip Liner 17. By the way, it is not a slow news day. I'm going to be bumping things left and right today. I'm just having fun. The Pillow Talk color is classic. It's just a safe nude liner that I can trust to put on blindly in a car and not fear I'll look insane. I always just use it to color in my entire lip. Again, why does this article exist? For the affiliate links. Can't you guys do some journalism like the New York Times? Jason Zinnemann, he's down. He's at the Mark Twain Awards. He's doing stuff. Hulu publicists probably call him back when he asks a question. Dear Hulu, my name is Jason. I work for the New York Times. I just want to know when your specials are coming out. Could you add me to a press release? I bet they add them. I bet you they do. Nikki Glaser likes white shoes. She says, I wear them on stage. I don't show my toes because I have bunions and I'm not ashamed of them, but I found that people find them disturbing, and I'd rather not have more pictures of my disfigured toes on WikiFeet. That is very funny. Her favorite bedtime tool is the Manta sleep mask. Nikki explains sleep masks are the most important thing in my life. I couldn't go to sleep without one. This is the best I found. It doesn't push down on your cheeks and just covers your eyes, which I feel is really important in a sleep mask. One I've used in the past pushed down on my cheeks and dented my filler. Oh no. Now remember the wrinkles? Nikki likes the ordinary 100% plant-derived squalene serum. Nikki says, I use this for everything. Day moisturizer, night cream, lube. It's cheap. And it's the thing I've recommended the most in life to my friends. Oh, there's more, but the bit has been beaten to death. Oh my God, I'm scrolling down. I could do this bit for 3 more days. I'm not going to, and you're welcome, but I could. Her favorite listen is the Las Culturistas podcast, which won a big podcast award earlier in the week. Matt Rogers was there to accept. Bowen Yang wasn't able to make it, I guess. Chelsea Handler, who used to date Joe Coy. Relax, Scott Beckett. I just did a 5-minute bit. I'm not doing the bit. Relax, Scott. Chelsea Handler used to date Joe Coy. Wants to have lots of men all over the world. You know who else she dated? I'm learning right here from reading this. 50 Cent. Didn't know she dated 50 Cent. You know, one time 50 Cent hosted the Gold. No, he didn't. Chelsea told Extra, I want lots of men all over the world in different areas. I want a port in every call. I got through the time in your life when many people decide to get married and have children. I look at like the 20s to 40s as a tunnel. I came out of that tunnel. I don't have a child and I don't have a husband. Now I'm free and I can do whatever I want. She turned 50 in February. She celebrated turning 50 by skiing in a bathing suit and then posting a photo of herself on social media. She explained, I know I've skied topless. I know I have. I just want to say that I haven't done a topless video in years because my nephews asked me not to because their friends at college were, seeing it. But I do. Hey, bro, dude, check out Aunt Chelsea. She's on, well, she wouldn't be on Insta. Where are they seeing these photos? That's my question. Like if I went out of my way to find a photo of Chelsea Handler skiing topless, which she apparently posted to the social medias, where would I find it to show it to her nephews? How would that work? I don't know. Chelsea says, but I do wear a bikini top. I just like to skin my bathing suit and just be free to demonstrate freedom to women, what you can do and how much fun you can have when you listen to who you are. Whitney Cummings at 40 jokes about having a geriatric pregnancy. Whitney explains, they start calling it geriatric at 35. I'm grateful that I did it at 40 years old. If I had a kid even a year sooner, I would have sold it for Taylor Swift tickets. Whitney had frozen her eggs at age 33, ended up conceiving naturally. She's co-parenting with her child's father. They are not a couple. She explained, let's start co-parenting from the beginning so the kid will never know anything different. She reflected on how parenthood has affected her. She explains, once I had a child, I was like, oh, I like myself when I only think about myself like 30 minutes a day. Hey man, you ever watch sports and find yourself wishing there was a way to get into the game? Well, let's go! With Underdog, there's finally a way to make picks on sports without leaving the house. The game is in your hands. Underdog is one of the leading sports apps, and you can play now in your state. You've heard me talk about the higher or lower game. You know what I've been doing lately? So I'm a Mets fan, but a couple years ago, Francisco Lindor gave the thumbs down to the Mets fans. I will not forgive him for this. So what I like to do is I like to see what they're doing higher or lower on Francisco Lindor, and I pick the lower. Opening day, 0 for 4. Day 2, 0 for 3. Lower. Lower's the way to go. So how do you play? You choose a player who will go higher or lower on one of their stats, touchdowns, strikeouts, points scored. You can mix and match. You can create entries with baseball picks, basketball still going, soccer, whatever you want. You can play with as little as $1, and if you get everything right, you can win up to 1,000 times your money. So turn $1 into $1,000 just with your sports knowledge. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog, and their app has over 100,000 five-star reviews and millions of players. So do what I do. Baseball, high or lower, and root against Francisco Lindor. He shouldn't have booed the Mets fans. Root for Juan Soto. That's what you should do. So go higher on Soto, lower on Lindor. That's the way to do it. Download the Underdog app and sign up now using the promo code DCN to unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. Join in on the fun when you sign up with promo code DCN. Claim your special offer today and get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly upon first deposit. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Underdog, promo code DCN. Do it.
Want this podcast without interruptions? Caliroga Plus delivers this show and over 20 premium shows completely ad-free, right to your favorite podcast player. We've just added exciting new series including Signal Lost. What happens when the most sensitive military intelligence in the world ends up on the wrong phone? White Smoke, taking you behind the scenes of all the interesting things that happen at the Vatican. And Pager Protocol, a thriller about getting exploding pagers into the hands of the bad guys. Plus, receive all your existing favorites like Palace Intrigue about the royal family, daily comedy news, 5 daily trivia questions, and 5 good news stories. Apple Podcast users, simply tap the banner in your Apple Podcasts app that says, Uninterrupted Listening, Spotify and other players. Visit caliroga.com/plus. If you missed all that, check the links in the show notes. It's just $4.99 a month for no ads. Listen on any device, on any player you love, completely hassle-free.
I don't know what's going on with Paul Rodriguez. 2 stories, both from TMZ. The newer one is TMZ has learned that Paul's best friend, who was found dead inside Paul Rodriguez's home back in November, remember that one? Died from a fentanyl overdose. Separately from that, Paul was recently arrested. As the story goes, the police pull over Paul's car for, I forget what the phrase is, but like code violations they're saying, like, like a taillight out or something, boop, bloop, bloop, and they pull you over. Apparently, when they pulled Paul over, Paul was in the passenger's seat asleep, said the car was his. Somebody else was driving, obviously, because Paul's in the passenger seat. Thanks for clearing that up, John. Thank you. So somebody else was driving Paul's car. Paul's in the car. Paul's asleep. Anyway, the cops do their thing and found narcotics, apparently. Paul was released with a citation to appear in court on April 25th. Paul apparently is claiming that a, quote, Caucasian, unquote, officer, who Paul describes as being on a, quote, power trip, unquote, slapped Paul awake during the incident. I don't know what's going on. Hope everything is okay there. Country superstar Mason Ramsey is becoming a comedian. Yeah. Mason Ramsey teamed up with the 800-pound gorilla to release his first ever stand-up comedy special. The 18-year-old comedy superstar tackles topics from growing up in rural Illinois to his yodeling breakout moment in the industry and rise to stardom with his signature country sound. You can find that special on the 800-pound gorilla YouTube channel. One of the great hoaxes of our time will continue. Bob's Burgers has supposedly been renewed for 4 more seasons. Bob's Burgers seasons 16 to 19 are going to air on Fox. They totally are. The 15th season is on right now. Totally is. Now, longtime listeners know what I'm going to do here, but if you are new, all right, pay attention. Now you're like, what is John all about? Okay, new listener. I'm going to ask you 2 questions, okay? I'm going to ask you 2 questions. Very serious here. 1, have you ever seen Bob's Burgers? You haven't. I know you've seen artwork. I know you've watched a football game and like Joe Buck or somebody's like, coming up after the game, Bob's Burgers. I know I've seen the promos. I get it. I've seen the artwork. I've seen people talk about the show. But my question to you is, have you ever actually seen the thing? No. This hoax, there's even cover art on like Hulu or something. Now, I could reach out to the Hulu publicist and be like, is Bob's Burgers real? But they're not going to get back to me anyway. So that's part of the hoax. Maybe there aren't even Hulu publicists. Look at the people supposedly on this show. Kristen Schaal. She won the Andy Kaufman Award. It's a prank, people. You've never seen Bob's Burgers. I get it. Joe Buck says it's going to come on after football. Nobody watches Fox on Sunday night. We all switch over to the other football game. That's my first question. Have you ever seen Bob's Burgers? The answer is you haven't. My second question for you, and this one really proves the point. Have you ever met anyone who has seen Bob's Burgers? Has anybody ever walked up to you and be like, hey, did you see Bob's Burgers on Sunday? You haven't, because the show doesn't exist. This is a prank, and the Fox people are having fun with it going, yeah, we renewed it for 4 more years. Now, they could sell merch. There's clearly Bob's Burgers merch. Maybe Hulu doesn't even check. Maybe they're like, oh yeah, there's a show, and Hulu just loads blank files. Probably nobody checks anything over at Hulu. I would ask the publicist, hey, when you guys get a show, does anybody actually make sure it's actually a show? But nobody gets back to me, so I don't know. At the Melbourne International Comedy Festival, which is in Australia. Don't go heading off to the Melbourne, Florida International Comedy Festival because Booblets and I haven't put that together yet. That'll be next year. Remember Ray Gun, the breakdancer from the Olympics that some people made fun of? So somebody wanted to do a comedy show about Ray Gun, and then the Ray Gun people were like, no. So Stephanie Broadbridge's new show is called Breaking the Musical, and it's totally not about Ray Gun. I don't know why you think it's about Ray Gun. It is not. The Age tells us that Rachel Gunn, a.k.a. Ray Gun, was not in the house on Tuesday for the first of 3 shows of Stephanie Broadbridge's legally challenged musical. And her name wasn't even mentioned, but she was kind of there in the vibe in this entertaining, messy, incisive, sympathetic, critical, and occasionally hilarious production that the audience rewarded with a partial standing ovation. Great writing there by The Age. There was a disclaimer. All characters in this show are fictional, even the ones that seem like they are not. The ones that seem like they are someone really specific and you're pretty sure they're based on someone real. Also, their name sounds heaps like the person's name that you thought it was. No, they're made up too. Everything is pretend. Great disclaimer. We then get the tale of a young woman, 36 years old, from the outer Sydney suburb of Hornsby, who goes on to represent Australia at the Olympics. That person is known as Spray Gun. Spray Gun gets mocked for her signature kangaroo dance moves. Spray Gun's real name is Sprachel. I love this. This is so much fun. Sprachel appears to have no aptitude for breakdancing, despite having a PhD in breakdancing, but her husband does, and he lures her away from ballroom dancing to the street sport, and somehow she manages to reach the top, and then the bottom. This is a fully fledged musical with a 3-piece band on stage and a cast of 12. They had some sound issues. This is horrible. And this is not a bit. 5 minutes in, the narrator asked the audience directly if they could hear. The audience said, no! And the audience suggested they start the whole thing over. They started the whole show over. That's awful. And The Age says that's a huge shame because the writing is sharp and the words and lyrics deserve to be heard. Maybe somebody at Netflix should film Spray Gun. I would watch that, and it would at least be different. Or maybe Hulu. But, then again, I wouldn't have any information about it. It would just kind of come on because Hulu publicists don't get back to everybody. Okay, I'm silly today. I'm leaving. I've made enough people mad. Bye.